Testing 1 2 testing. All right, good morning, team. Good morning. Hope you guys are all having a great start to your day. Today is February 17th, 2026. It is 7:24 my time. And we are live. All right. Welcome. Excited to be here with you all today. Good morning. All right, QQQ overall is down today, 0.63%. It's down to 598. We're going to see if it can hold above 597. Apparently, yeah, this was the low, but it already dipped below it. So 595.05 is going to be our new potential support level. We'll see if it can get below the support level. If it does, then obviously we can see some more selling pressure. Or it needs to get above, around $600. So we'll see if it gets above $600 today. Also, Bitcoin kind of selling off. It was down to 67,000 in the overnight session, but didn't seem to get much lower than that. So we're looking at a $67,000 bottom here. We'll see if this breaks. If it does, that's great. If not, it'll need to push above 69 for some upward momentum. So we're looking for a possible break of support. Or does this begin to just, consolidate basically right here at this level? MSTR is actively selling off slightly, which means MSTZ is pushing up. I'm going to go ahead and start getting a entry set up here. Let's go. Let's do maybe 20 shares right away. So we don't miss majority of this move here. Let's bring this up here. 1369. Let's go 1370. I'm gonna buy 20 shares at 1370. Okay, so let's get that going now. All right, so we do have 20 shares as of right now. I did buy at 1369. All right, I don't want to miss this move here. Now Bitcoin pushes up, obviously MSTR will push a little bit with it, as well as the overall market. If the market begins to push up, then obviously MSTR will go up with it. But we want to see strong rejection. We want to see a rejection off of this moving average. We want to see Bitcoin get rejected as well, maybe cross below this level here. And MSTR can really begin to sell off. Now, of course, I'd want to cut my losses around 135, potentially 140, as it could push up higher. And my price target, I'm looking at maybe around, 120 today. A $9 drop on MSTR would be pretty nice. From 129 to 120, that's about a 7% drop back to those previous lows from Thursday. So we'll see if we get that. If we do, then of course MSTZ and our position here could push up even 14%, back up to about 1570. So our profit target is going to be around 1570. So that'd be really nice to see if it does go up to those levels. Bitcoin, MSTR selling off slightly. Now we're going to be patient before adding the other 20. There's nothing saying that we have to get in at full size right now this second. Okay, so be aware of that. I'd love to see Bitcoin push up a little bit more. We buy the top and then we participate in the next sell-off. I'd love to see obviously QQQ get rejected here, but it could potentially push up as well. Okay, there's nothing saying that it can't do that. So we are going to go to a split screen grid. Perfect. And we are going to go to MSTR. QQQ pushing up. MSTR selling off. Market is officially open. Range MSTZ. We're up a little percent point. Nothing too crazy. So MSTR pushing up. Okay, so we want to see this push up a little higher. We'll buy a little bit more as MSTZ begins to sell off. I want to see what the overall market is doing. So actually, let's just do this. I'm going to take this and we're going to copy the chart and I'm going to put QQQ over here. That way I could watch it a little bit better. All right. And now I can watch it from over here. Watch it push up or sell off. And then I can look at Bitcoin. Oh, shoot. Sorry, that's so loud. Let's pull this down a little bit. Okay, MSTR is pushing Bitcoin. Let's see what happens here. QQQ is trying to establish a support and push up. Check it out. QQQ pushing up very nicely. Yeah, sound came all the way down to $7 for a nice support and pushing up to $7.25, giving an indication that found a bottom, potentially bouncing. QQQ selling off at 600. We'll see if this continues to push higher. I am going to be watching it from my other screen here. Remember, we want to let this do whatever it's going to do, whether the market pushes up, sells off, whatever it wants to do here. All we're going to do is be patient. I would have loved to buy that dip right there. We're going to add 20 more shares. Yeah. No. We're going to be patient here. Hold on. MSTR. Going to be a little patient here. This might run up just a little bit more. QQQ is pushing up slightly. I am watching QQQ on my secondary screen over here, but I'll let you guys take a look. You see it pushing up here. We'll see if it does begin to push higher. If it does, then obviously MSTR could push higher as well. And we could buy at a lower price point down here. Beautiful. Adding another 10 down here at 1346. QQQ testing 599.50. Okay, QQQ pushing slightly higher. 599.84. Okay, 600. QQQ just hit 600. Bitcoin's selling off, but the market is pushing up. Can add another 10 down here at 1340. Okay. Guys have any other companies you want me to take a look at? MSTR pushing, Bitcoin holding, and this is what I'm looking at on my secondary screen. It pushed up to 685. Basically where it was Friday. So we'll see if it gets rejected from those Friday lows, as you can see, right around 600. Or does it begin to push higher? 601, 601.30. Oh wow, it's really pushing. 601.40. Let's take a look. It looks like Nvidia is leading the way. Everything else seems to be selling off. Google pushing up slightly. ABGO pushing up. AMD, Apple. Okay, so we got a few companies that are pushing up. Hood pushed up, selling off slightly. Netflix pushing up slightly. $601.63. I'm seriously considering getting out of my swing trades too, guys. Just for the fact that I could have more cash to day trade. It sucks when the swing trade doesn't go in your favor and then you're stuck holding it for, it went from hopefully being a few days to a week or two swing to now being a few weeks, possibly a month or two, or even longer. And then you can't use that cash for anything. So that kind of sucks. NASDAQ's still trying to get back into the green here. Let me show you what I'm looking at. Still down. It's still in the red, but it's trying to push higher. Looks like it can potentially get back in the green here. 601.70. And let it push up higher. That's fine with me. Looks like Bitcoin potentially is going to sell off here. Adding another 10 at 1343. All right. So we're adding onto our position on these on these areas here. We have 50 shares. We'll probably leave it at that for just a moment. There we go. Bitcoin beginning to sell off too. See if we get a nice sell off. MSTR, not much is happening with MSTR. So I'm watching Bitcoin on one side and I'm watching QQQ on the other. Looks like Bitcoin is getting ready to sell off here. Okay, big sell off by Bitcoin. Huge sell off. All right, Bitcoin's selling off. Bitcoin's selling off and QQQ is trying to curl over. So we'll see if we can get a nice curl over on QQQ. But Bitcoin is selling off. Look at this, all the way down to 67,600 right here at the support level. We did call this support level out. See if it can come back down to 67.2. Ooh-wee. All right. MSTR selling off slightly here. We'll see what happens. At one point, I think we were up 10 bucks. There we go. Bitcoin selling off. QQQ still slightly pushing up. The overall Nasdaq's up to 602, guys. Bitcoin selling off. QQQ is pushing up. It's holding very well right here. Look at that. It's going to break into the green. Let's see it. Go green, go green. It was green for just a moment, wasn't it? Now let's see this begin to sell off here. Crypto still selling off down to 67.5. There we go. Let's see if MSTR can sell off a little bit more. This is exactly what we wanted to see here. It's below this 200-day moving average. It's below the 45 EMA. So we want to see this to see a nice retracement, right? A nice sell-off here today. It's exactly what we want to see. Bitcoin selling off. Whoo! We're able to participate in this full move. Let's see here. Up $15 or 2%. QQQ still holding at 601.84. As you can see here, big push up. It's retesting pre-market levels or overnight levels from Friday. And they are officially in the green. Nope, in the red. Green, red, green, red, green, red. Here we go. Market's beginning to sell off, curling over. Bitcoin continuing to sell off. And there we go. MSTR. We're up 2% or $16. Our price target, take profit, is going to be probably around here somewhere, around maybe 15. Making $1.50 per share. We could potentially make $50 to $70 today, but don't be afraid to lock in profits. Many times I've been green and it's completely reversed and I went to red, so it can happen just as fast as it pushes up. QQQ curling over. We've had V-shaped recoveries where, you know, Bitcoin could find support and then rip right back up. Same with QQQ. Here we go. Seeing a little bit more selling pressure here. Big curl over. Look at this. QQQ curling over on the day, going back to red. We got to participate in this very nicely. Buying the lows as you saw during this live stream. Go pushing below that 67, pushed right below it. So now we can see this come back down into some more oversold territory. Potentially back down to 65, maybe even 60, which would be nice. Doesn't have to happen, but that would be very nice to see. Continuing to sell off. MSTR really isn't making aggressive lows though. It's not selling off as much as we would like it to. Okay, here we go. Here we go, pushing down. We're up $20. We're going to sell 10 shares here. just to reduce, right? We're up $20 or 3%. Nothing wrong with that. Let's see the markets. Bitcoin's selling off still. 67,000. Let's see if it gets below 67. QQQ selling off, which means MSTR needs to sell off too, but it's kind of doing its own thing right now. So make sure that you're locking in profits when it makes sense. NASDAQ market is still selling off. Bitcoin still selling off. Let me show you QQQ. QQQ selling off. Look at this. Beautiful rejection. It pumped up for no reason at all and beginning to give it all back. And there we go. Looks like it's going to break below. Nice. MSTR needs to sell off with it. $13.95, $36.96. We're selling again. Sold at $13.92. What a bad fill. That was a horrible fill. Here we go. Bitcoin continuing to sell off. MSTR needs to break. Come on. Bitcoin selling off below 67,000. We're going to sell another 10 at $13.97. No interlock in profits. QQQ trying to push back up. Bitcoin down to 66.9. MSTR to 128 for no reason at all. But because we gave back, we sold so much up here. We bought down here, we sold up here. That's going to give us less of a, you know, a drawdown, right? Less of a drawdown. Bitcoin is dropping 66,900. We were able to participate in this move, but MSTR just does not want to drop with it. It is literally doing its own thing right now, so know when to take in profits, guys. For those reasons, I'm going to sell another 10. There's no point. Last week, this happened where I was up 20. I didn't lock in profits, and it went all the way negative on me to where I was down $37. That was a $50 swing from where I should have locked in profits to where I cut losses, okay? So, yes, I could have made more by holding more shares, but that is okay. I'd rather be green and cautious than giving all the profits back, guys. Let's see. See where my sells are. 1392, 1395, 1394, 1395. So all right around 1395. 1395, you know, could have made another 10 cents. Another 5 or 10 bucks, so it wouldn't have been anything too significant here. We're going to sell those 10 up here. There we go. We're out. Decent trade. We didn't trade with a lot of money. Again, it's still very early. We just kind of got in to, you know, kind of get our feet a little wet, right? So we're up $20. We're right around 3, was it 3 or 5%? Now I don't know. Let me see here. It was 3%. Yeah, it was about 3%. So not bad. Not a bad trade at all. And it can continue to push higher. I just did my part by locking in profits, guys. Again, last week, same thing. I was up 20 and it began to sell off. And then before you know it, I gave everything back and I was down, $37. So although this could sell off more, it looks like it is trying to find somewhat of a support right around 66,800 for Bitcoin after a really nice red candle. But just know it can recover. And then look, you had a red candle here, huge recovery, and that's what I was talking about. It went back up to retest in this area, and I thought maybe it would sell off as it did before, pushed up, and we lost a couple bucks. So it can recover just as fast as it sells off. Remember to don't be afraid to lock in profits. QQQ also, that's also another reason. I'm looking at it on my secondary screen over here. It's finding support on that moving average, which means this can rip right back up, okay? We want to make sure that we're aware of all other surroundings. If QQQ pushes up, if Bitcoin pushes up, then MSTR has every reason to push higher, okay? So we did a great job by buying the lows, selling the highs, reducing our position size when it made sense, and locking in 20 bucks. 20 bucks isn't nothing insane, right? It's nothing crazy. Could have made more, obviously. Could have made a lot more, apparently. 50 shares. Another 25 cents. 50 times 0.30. Another $15. That would have been 35 bucks, almost $40 on the day if we held that position. And that's okay. Some days you can hold. Some days it's okay locking in profits. It's a nice start to the week. Made 20 bucks in like 20 minutes. All right. What is Bitcoin doing? Bitcoin's selling off even more. QQQ also selling off. Means MSTR pushing down. Yeah, this would have been nice, right? This was good. I do believe I want to get out of some of these here. Like on AG&C, it's cool to showcase to you guys a dividend capture strategy where we make monthly money, but I just made $20 in 20 minutes compared to making $5 or $10 every 30 days, right? Like it'd be different if I was making $100 or $200 every month. I'm making $5 a month on $450. I could use that to supplement my day trading, right? So, yeah, I think I'm going to do that right now on this live stream, guys. Let's see. I'm going to showcase to you guys where my cost basis is on this. It's at it's at 1172, guys. So I'm officially down $3 in total. Or is this for the day? Let's see. Open P&L. I'm down 17 bucks, guys. I'm down $17 technically. $2 on the day. So, as yes, it could be a good company to keep. I would probably break even on 40 shares within the next month or two and make that 17 back. Could also push up a little bit higher, but at the same time, it's like, making $20 in 20 minutes could be $50 or $100 in 20 minutes with more shares available, right? So, when is A&G's next Let's see, QQQ selling off. Back down to that support. Let's see when AGNC will have its next dividend payout. AGNC 211 declaration date. Ex-dividend date will be 2/27. So it's like, do I hold this for 10 more days to get 12 cents a share? I'm gonna make $1.44 a year. So then you bring up $1.44 times even 40 shares. I make $57 for the year when I literally just made 20 bucks in 20 minutes. So it just doesn't make sense as someone who's a day trader. Now, of course, if you have a long-term account, that's great. But also the market's selling off too. When the market is pushing up, we do a better job by being able to not go with that trend, right? We don't want this to continue to push down. So we're going to go ahead and get out of this AG&C, and I want you guys to know too firsthand. SoFi, again, it might be a great price point. It might eventually bounce right around this level, $19, $18. But until we see some signs of upward momentum, guys, this was just, I got in a little bit too early on this swing trade, right? It's not swing trading the way we wanted to, and that's okay to be able to cut your losses as well and use this money for something else, right? Overall on this one, I'm down $43 on this one, guys, right? So every day I'm just losing a little bit more as this begins to sell off. And as a day trader, once this begins to push up, we could set our alerts and we'll be able to, then get back in on it if we want to participate in that swing trade. But I'm going to start using this money again for actual day trading. There's no point in having, say, $2,000 tied up in the market waiting for this thing to push up when all it's doing is selling off. So we also have to know when to cut our losses, and also when just it doesn't make sense cost base wise, right? Down another 2% today on Netflix, overall down 11% or 68 bucks. So it's like, why continue to hold something that continues to lose you money, right? And look at this sell off. It could bounce. We could begin to see some upward momentum. But again, just like with these companies, it's just a descending pattern. It's descending pattern. And that just has to do with the market beginning to sell off and continuing to sell off. So we're just going to get out of this as well. SoFi, same thing. And we talked about it. Descending pattern. Had a double bottom. Could sell off more. Could begin to recover. Netflix, downward trend, descending pattern, no progress, and no point in getting in. Now, if you have a lot of money, you could potentially average down on these positions and continue to buy the low, buy the low, buy the low. But I want daily money right now. So in order to make more daily cash, I could, increase my buying power to where now I can make $50, $100 a day instead of potentially making $500 on a swing trade one day, in the future. Could take a month, could take a year with the market conditions. And when taking this trade, I didn't realize the market conditions would be so bad right now for earnings season, right? Usually it's pretty good. We've been in a nice bull market for like a year and a half. But right now, just everything continuing to sell off, right? QQQ is continuing to sell off, so there's no point in me participating and holding on to any of this. We bought when the market was pushing up, obviously getting rejected and selling off. So again, just no point in holding these positions. Down another 3% on Hood, and just continuously losing money, right? So down $200 on Hood, or 22%. Why would I continue to follow this down and make lower lows? Had a little bit of hope last week at 68. We bought some more at 68. We brought our average down from, I think it was like 115 to 109 to 102. Now it's all the way down to 94. I could keep buying down at 70 and bring my average down to maybe 85, maybe 80, maybe even 75. But if this continues to sell off, there's really no point, guys. Just a descending pattern. Had a lot of hope when it pushed up here, had some hope when it flatlined and began to push up, but every single time it gets rejected. So for those reasons, we're just simply going to get out of these swing trades. We're not going to be holding these swing trades anymore. We are going to stop the bleeding in our account, and we're going to make that money back by simply day trading. Right? QQQ down to 594. Why would I continue to hold big tech when big tech continues to sell off over and over and over every day? I've been watching this account slowly get drained and sell off. So now it's all about using that money once again to day trade. I was thinking though, we just hit close to $3,000 in this account, right? We're like at 2,800. Why would I have majority of it in swing trades? I got a little carried away buying the dip, buying a little more, to where it went from having and holding $1,000 and being down maybe $100 to having $2,000 in value and down what, $200, $300, I believe. So, I did hold these swing trades way longer than I needed to. MSTZ, again, making $20 in 20 minutes compared to slowly bleeding your account by holding a swing trade that doesn't really seem to be playing off or paying off, right? You got to know when certain things are working and when certain things just are not working. And that's okay too, okay? Don't have to hold a position. You don't have to be in a position just because you're up or down a certain amount. And that's what I love about trading so much, is it gives us the flexibility to make those decisions, right? I stopped the bleeding in the account. The account is no longer going to be bleeding daily. We locked in $20 in profits. So we realized a $200 loss on Hood, $67 on Netflix, $42 on SoFi, and if you take into account the dividends from AG&C, like $12 on AG&C. Just ridiculous. Okay, MSTZ still pushing. QQQ. Bitcoin beginning to curl on over back up to test some other resistance levels. QQQ, again, a little curl over here at 595. So total, yeah, like $300 down on an account, or we would have crossed over. So at 2,800, with that 300, we would have been at 3,100. So the account was already at $3,100. But again, just sometimes it doesn't pay to hold those swing trades, right? Especially in a down market. It'd be different if the market's continuing to push higher, right? I started buying a lot of these positions, around these dip areas where, okay, it's oversold. We're going to buy a little bit more, but it's just been consolidating, right? Even back to October of last year, it went from 637 down to 579. So yeah, buying the dip made sense, and November 20th made sense to buy some over here, pulled back, made some sense to buy some in December, and then we actually seen a nice little support level kind of around these levels, right? We were like, okay, so anything above 600, we can start buying because 600 is a strong support. So I start buying some in, I think, January, you know, beginning of January, because I wanted to showcase to you guys swing trades and day trading and how you can make money with both. And then it pushed up to 637, and by then tech companies were already at a pretty significant descent, right? That was at 128. So 128 right here, when there was at all-time highs, it was already selling off. So this is why it made sense to me to buy into Hood, because I thought we were going to see a nice, push up and breakout. It didn't break out. It sold off. And we basically held the entire sell-off down to 595, right? And you guys got to witness it and see it. So, it's all about just cutting your losses when it makes sense. Sound continuing to sell off. AG&C had a nice ascending pattern from $9 to $12, and now it's beginning to sell off and curl over. SoFi continuing to sell off. Netflix, just a downward trend on Netflix. And Hood selling off, trying to find some support here. I believe in the companies. Cool. And it's okay if you do believe in these companies as swing trades. I believe Hood can go back up to previous levels. I believe the same thing with Netflix and SoFi. But at the same time, do I believe in it so much that I just want to hold and wait and wish? Right? I want to be able to use my money to get in and out of day trades. To make 3%, we made 3% today, made 20 bucks. I want to make 10%, right? Or make the same 3%, but instead of just, what was it, $500, $600, we can make 3% on $2,000, right? $3,000. So maybe once the account gets a little bit bigger, say we cross over 10 grand, maybe we'll revisit $2,000 in swing trades and then use $8,000 to day trade. But right now we're growing the account, and by being able to make $20 in 20 minutes, and that could have been a lot more, unfortunately, right? I only had, I believe, it was $500. These were my buys and sells on the day. 13, so I had 50 shares at roughly around 13. $50 shares times, say 1350, 675. $675 times 0.03, $20. So made 3% or $20 on 600 bucks. Now look at this. $2,800 if I had the full position size times 0.03, we would have had $84 today, right? So it would have been a lot more than just 20 bucks. And then that's when we get back to those $100 days. Using more money to buy more shares. So $2,800 divided by 1350. Now I could add 200 shares. This pushes up even half of that, right? 200 shares times 0.75, 150. Pushes up $1 on 200 shares from 1350 to 14. Yeah, $150. So it doesn't make sense to swing trade, have your money being held basically hostage, waiting for it to push back up or even breaking even. How would you like to have $2,000 today in a swing trade, and then tomorrow you have $2,001? So you made $1 and you still have to hold it even longer, compared to getting in and out of your day trades, using that buying power, getting in entries like a sniper, getting out like a sniper, and now you're being able to participate in these moves much more. So that is what I'm going to be doing moving forward. Again, This is for day trading. I wanted to showcase to you some swing trades, and you know, right now the market's just not reacting the way we want it to either. It'd be nice to be able to wake up and see your account, your swing trades growing every day. Okay, I'm up another 20 bucks. Okay, I'm up another 30. Okay, I'm up another 10. Before I know it, it's swing the other way to where instead of being down $200 or $300, you're up $200 or $300, right? It justifies your swing trades when it's moving up, but not when it's moving down. And you got to know when to cut your losses. All right, well, that's my little rant. That's my rant on that. PDIE, how's it going, man? MSTZ hit 1430. We'll start looking at setting a trailing stop loss. 1430 is 5% game for my small 15 shares. And so that's not bad. 15 shares, it's a great place to start. I had 50 today. Usually I like to trade with 100 to 200 shares. But, you know, lately I've only been trading with about 50 or so due to the swing trades. But moving forward, we're going to actually up that more. MSTR, not sure what it wants to do. Sold 15 MSTZ at 14.15 at 397. 810 on 200 invested. Nice. So you made $8 on 200 bucks. And I was able to make $20 on like 600 bucks. Very nice. Very nice. And yeah, it's all about locking in profits, right? Chart settings. It's all about buying the low, selling the high. I sold at $13.95, so I shouldn't have sold at $13.95, $13.92. I sold at $14.01. You know, I could have held another 25 cents on 50 shares. $13.95 is where I sold the majority of it. 30 cents. So you bring out the calculator. I had 50 shares times another 30 cents. $15, right? 50 shares times 30. Another $15. But at $35 to $40 today, just holding a little bit longer on a very small position. So tomorrow, it's game on. We're gonna have 200 shares. We're looking to make $100 a day, and I know we can do it. So I had a good job. I had a good day with you guys trading. I had a good day with you guys trading. Made some easy money here. 20 bucks in 20 minutes. Tomorrow, it's gonna even get better, guys. Okay, we're gonna begin seeing this number go even higher. We're gonna be using more cash, more shares to make more money overall, right? My goal is to make 2% a day, and whether that's 2% on $500 or 2% on $1,000, it's a huge difference. And that's just a small percentage, right? So we bought at 1350s. 2% was right here. Well, we made 3% today. So 3% was very nice. We could have made closer to 5.5. So 5% on $2,000 is 100 bucks. Okay. So that is going to be our new goal moving forward. 2,000 times 0.05. We're looking to make $100 a day. And look, we have $2,800 times 0.05. Excuse me. We're looking to make anywhere between $100 and $150 a day. All right, guys, and that's what exactly we're going to do this week. I'm excited to have another day of trading, and it's Tuesday, guys, so we only have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We have 3 more days of trading. It's a short week because of President's Day, but I believe if we can get 3 $100 days, we'll make back those swing trade losses in 3 days, guys. What took something 2 weeks to drain our account, we'll make it back in 3 days, and I know it's possible. I've done it before, and that is one of the reasons why I like to be cash every day, because when I go into the day with cash available to use, I can use it to make money. When it's just stale and stagnant, being held in companies that aren't really moving in the direction we want, or moving horizontally, not really making any money, that's when it can get very daunting, and it could take much longer to grow an account when all your cash is in a swing trade or a trade that just isn't going according to plan. So know when to cut your losses, just like I did today. I want to lead this team by example, and even though we are down on some of those swing trades, it is okay, because now we can use that money to make more money much faster. Okay, guys, so moving forward, we're going to be trading with our full account size. We don't have any money in the market, and every day we're going to close out our positions, whether they're good or bad, and we're going to use that money the next day, right? We're going to have 100% of our account cash, so we can get in and out of positions when we see value in them, right? And that's what it's all about. So moving forward, you're going to start seeing more $100 days starting tomorrow. All right, guys? And that's what it's all about, managing your risk and making sure you know when to cut your losses and take profits, whether it's a day trade, a swing trade, or even sometimes long-term investments. You could take some money off the top when companies become overbought, right? At all-time highs. I just saw Jeremy, I think he sold out of his Google position after years and years. He finally selling it off, right? So, and knowing when to get into those swing trades and get good deals. So appreciate you guys' time. Like always, remember to smash that like button for me, and let's all end the year on a green note. Later, team. And we'll see you tomorrow for another live day trading session at Market Open.